The member from Scott, Representative Albright.
Madam Speaker, thank you. I thought I would start with thank yous so that I don't forget anyone. And the list is somewhat long, so it's alphabetical, and I'll apologize in advance if I've forgotten anyone. Chelsea Axelson, Janelle Bulka, Susan Klossmore, Lori Cozano, Rachel Eason, Perry Glessing, Gavin Hansen, John Hultquist, Harry Kennedy, Mark Laliberti, or as I call him lovingly, Kenny, Callie Lehman, Joe Marble, Mark Nisley, Casey Peterson, Andrew Wagner, the indomitable Jeremiah Wingstead, Jody Withers, Troy Young, and Amy Zipko. You've heard it really often this morning, but it is without question the people that I just mentioned make us better than we are. Because each of you are the very best this state has to offer. Oh, I might have remembered a few more people. Steve Munoz. I can remember the first session that I served. I'm like a former member. I use pencils. I like a specific kind of pencil. And I went down to Steve one day and I said, "Do you got anything more than a number 2? And he said, "Well, what do you need?" And I said, "I need a number 3 HD. He said, "I can take care of that." Within 2 days, I had 25 number 3 HD pencils to do my bidding on this in this chamber. Annie Pericini. We are partners in crime. And we do love a party. Mr. Meyerson, thank you for being the guardian of all who enter through those doors. You have always had our back. Thank you. Patrick Duffy Murphy. Everyone has their first inclination and introduction to the chief clerk, and I've served under two. But as a freshman, when you walk in and you take your seat and you hear your name called for the first time, it doesn't get any more real than that. And I'm sorry, but you've called my name a lot, as well as everyone in this chamber. I couldn't be more humbled by your service to this state. also the keeper of my legacy. Keep it in good stead. Thank you. Just like everyone else in this chamber, I have been blessed with people that have dressed me up and patted me on the head and sent me into committee, hoping that I didn't screw up. No more so than my LA, Mrs. Coddington. You have been my guardian. You have been my confidant. You have been the parent in the room. You have been my partner in crime, my schemer. And you have been my partner on this road. I owe you a debt of gratitude. You can't do this journey alone. And I have been blessed with a wife and family who at times have kidded me about being a legislator. Early on in my first term, I came home. My son Joseph, who you've met, brought in the mail. And he's going through it, and we're all standing around the island in the kitchen, and he's saying, Mom, Laura, Anna, Mom, Laura. And he says, oh, here's a good one. And he holds it up, and he said, oh, this is addressed to the Honorable Tony Albright. To which thunderous applause, because in my household, when you walk in the door after a day on the legislative floor, the first thing that you're reminded of is that you have a family that loves you. And I can't honestly say how I could love my wife any more today than I do for what she has supported and allowed me to do as one of my dreams in my life over the last 10 years. Thank you, Mary Ann. You don't have any idea in terms of how big of a deal this is going to be until you start thinking about the people who have come through those doors before you. And you start to get a little more nervous as you start to grapple with what you've been a part of. In other areas of your life, you can hide. But in this chamber, you are front and center. The old saying goes, it's nothing personal. It's just business. Whoever says that's never been a legislator. Because you are the embodiment of every person living in your district and in this state. It's personal. Many have said that making legislation is either utopia or shoveling shit uphill. Well, I guess today we're going to put away our shovels and we're going to remember the good times. And for me, I've had many. I can honestly say that in my 10 years I've witnessed some historic milestones while serving in this chamber. Not only by the direction that legislation that we've passed has taken this state, but also by the transformation of this building itself. For some of us, who could forget walking through the tunnel while it was under construction, with jackhammers and wheelbarrows and emergency lights and plastic and ramps and detours, or using the outdoor bathrooms in the middle of a thunderstorm. And for some of us, who could forget convening floor session in room 10 of the state office building? To say things got steamy that day, weren't kidding. We've also witnessed the ebb and flow of life amongst each other, haven't we? We've celebrated the joy of new life, new beginnings, but also the heartbreak of tragedy, illness, and the loss of members and loved ones. Everyone knows that this day will come for them. For some, maybe it's coming sooner than they expected. Maybe not soon enough by others. But it is a day that marks the close of an experience very few in this state ever have the privilege to call their own. So much so that in the whole of our state's existence, only 5,400 individuals have walked through those doors, sat down at these desks, and cast a vote to affect the lives of every Minnesotan. And not just for that day, but for generations to come. Everyone has their story of how they came to be inspired by someone who said something, or at just the right moment pointed you in a direction that led you to this desk. I almost became a senator. I know. Calm your fears, I got over it real fast. But one of my dearest friends is Senator Eric Pratt. We came in together. He and I were running for the same seat because just the day before, our senator, Claire Roebling, had decided not to run. And so in the space of a 30-second conversation on I-494, right under France Avenue, his campaign manager and my campaign manager told each other, get the candidates on the phone and figure this out, because the House seat had also just opened up. So in the space of 30 seconds, Senator Pratt said, what do you want to be? I, being a card player, I said, no, what do you want to be? He said, I want to be a senator. I said, okay. Then the shaky voice comes back. He'll lie about that part. He said, what do you want to be? I said, I want to be a representative. And he said, see you tomorrow. It's been a long journey since that day in January of 2013 when I took the oath of office on this floor. And though my hair has turned gray and my hearing is not as good as it used to be, my heart is full. I've had the pleasure of serving with you, and I sincerely mean that, and that in some small way, each one of you has added lines in one of the most amazing chapters in my book of life. And so I end, as it always begins, when you rise to speak on this floor. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you, members.